Hey guys, I'm Miguel, and I wanted to make this video about my musical experience so far, and what I plan to do in the future, and what I want to do, you know. And I just want to, kind of give my advice for, up and coming musicians, and I want to say also thank you for the people who subscribe to my channel, the people who comment on the videos, seeing you guys playing playing the songs in those videos, makes me feel, good that I uploaded them, you know, and then hearing you guys say, "Hey, I played this song," I'm like, "Yeah, it's a fun song." Sorry if I don't reply. I'm just, I don't want to. I wanted to acknowledge that I've read those comments. So yeah, and I want to show you what I've been through, what I want to go through. But first and foremost, I just want to say you never take a journey by yourself. You, you know, especially music, there's always somebody there for you, somebody you can rely on, best friends. You can even make best friends through music. I have, it's really fun. And I guess I'll start at the beginning of my musical career so far. So it's really started in the end of fifth grade when we were signing up for middle school. And I had a best friend from elementary. From I've known him since third grade. His name is Silvio. His YouTube account is Silviola824. And then he also has another one, but I don't remember that one. And you know, we're deciding on what middle school we go to, and my mom really took the wheel, showing me, "I want you to go to this one. I want you to go." I think it was Dartmouth. But then Silvio tells me he wants to go to Castillero. I was like, I don't want to, lose my best friend from elementary, so I also want to go to the one he goes to. So I begged my mom to sign for Castillero, and I eventually get her, yes, you could go to Castillero. I'm like, yes. And then comes, selecting your classes, and I was put, basic classes, and then the elective rolls around, and my mom says, I want you to do drama. But I didn't care. I didn't think I would do anything. I didn't care about the electives at all. So she signs me up for drama. I'm like, okay, let's try this out. And sure thing, drama gets full, so they put me in the next available spot, which apparently was band. And I was like, okay, band. Don't I know that there is band. Coming from a Hispanic background, you hear band instruments, you know. So I was like, okay. And at the time, fifth grade, I had a girlfriend, but it was one of those fake girlfriends. We didn't do anything. It was more like a title. It's just like, hey, I like you. Let's get together. Okay, and then walk away. So she's in the class, and my friend Sylvia was also in the class, I think. But she wants to do orchestra, so I'm like, okay. So I follow her, sign the waiver to get out of band and get into orchestra. And my friend Silvio got into orchestra. My girlfriend got into orchestra, but something happened with my paperwork and never went through, and I stayed in band. So I'm like, okay, I'll just stay here. I told my Silvio, I was like, you could be the orchestra guy, I'll be the band guy. It will work out. We go to each other's concerts and stuff. Next is choosing instruments, and I didn't know what to choose. To be honest, um, I just wanted to play an instrument, but I wanted to look cool about it. And my friend Carlos, he says he wants to be a drummer. So I'm like, okay, we'll go sign up to be percussion. And what apparently there was too many people signed up for percussion, so we had to do a raffle. He lost, but I won. I could be a percussionist, And then what we learned out later was during the choosing for trombones, only two people went, and our my middle school band director, Mr. Joe DeMar, said, we need more trombone players if anyone's willing to switch instruments. And I felt bad for the trombone, so I, switched. And I guess that was the best decision for me. Um, but then, you get middle school band, you get tagged, and you get bullied. And there was this group. I took public school bus to school, school bus, and there was this group of guys that were like wannabe gangsters, trying to be cool and stuff, and they didn't, me being a band person, I was tagged as a nerd, band geek, everything you could say, and they didn't like me, and to be honest, I didn't like them, and we had encounters, they beat me up a few times, tried to get back at them, never worked, but made me stronger actually. I, uh, we got into a big fight. It was like, six guys against one small sixth grader, and a trombone. And I told him, and I remember this, I told them out of anger and frustration, I told them, you think you're cool, God is cool. And, I, I'm religious, so I told them that, and they were they still beat me up. They beat the crap out of me. In fact, I never really told anyone about it, not even my mom. Hopefully she doesn't see this. But, I'll probably, say, it's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, why do you care now? It was, a long time ago. But, like, I have this trombone with me, and it, feels nice. Big instrument, really fun because it has slide. And, we got to learn cool songs, and in beginning band I made a new friend which stuck with me, Daniel Geo. He's a phenomenal trombone player. I think his YouTube account is like DGO728 or something like that. I don't know, but halfway through he got private lessons, but he's a really phenomenal player, and so we befriended. Towards the end of my sixth grade year, we were starting to do audition process, and I thought, I'm not gonna make it into the advanced band. I'm just gonna go to intermediate. And next thing you know, I get tapped on the shoulder by Mr. DeMar. He's like, here, come to my office with me. I'm like, sure. I come in and he tells me, play not from memory from the sheet, play these major scales. I struggled at the time, but he gave me some leeway, and he said, congratulations, you just made the advanced band. I was like, sweet. And he also said you'll make it into the Jazz Lab 1. At the time we had three jazz bands. Jazz Band, which was top, Jazz Lab 1, which was intermediate, and Jazz Lab 2, which was the beginning jazz. And, I'm just happy because I moved up. And my friend Silvio, he also moved up. He went to advanced orchestra. So it's like, yeah, we're at the top now. And then next year rolls around, and I'm more involved and more than ever. But I started off in advanced band, second to last chair, which is not good. And I was fourth trombone in Jazz Lab 1, which was not good. So I became very timid, and I thought I wasn't good enough. So get through the year, and I'm kind of basically struggling to keep up. But I had my friends with me. Daniel Geo was there. Also, we became very good friends, especially on our trip to Disney. We were roommates, and, a very great friend, and we had fun. And it's approaching the end of the year, seventh grade, I guess I didn't tell you guys, the fake girlfriend, we broke off. Never. The moment I tried actually pushing to be her boyfriend, we just broke off. So I didn't care at all. And then, so we're approaching the end of seventh grade, and Mr. Amar tells me, "Hey, I'm trying to, write out the bands for next year, and if you stay second to last chair, you won't make the jazz band. You have to try to get, a chair up." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll try." I never did, but in a weird way, it worked out. Eighth grade came in, and I was first chair in Jazz Lab 1, and it helped me because it forced me to play out being lead trombone player and you know be the best I could be for the band. And then I was fifth chair in, this was out of 10 guys, so I was fifth chair in advanced band, and I finally challenged and I became fourth chair, and I beat the guy. David Potts was his name. I smoked him, and he kind of cheated. I will never forget this. Like, I signed the challenge sheet, and it's basically you're supposed to sign it, and then a week later you do the challenge. And he told me 3 weeks later. I'm like, fine, I'll give you 3 weeks, and I still beat him. And um, it was kind of going back and forth, back and forth. He beat me, I beat him, and stuff like that. But he told me he didn't want to be a musician. He just wanted to quit, and he had his own trombone too. So I'm like, why, would dude go through all this and then want to quit? But I guess he found something else he liked, and you know, um, the only big thing that I remember as a downside was festival. We went to Disneyland. We go to festival too down in LA, and I feel like I failed the band because we played the song called by Victor Lopez called Caribbean Dance, and there was this section with the trombones, and I I always felt like in rehearsal we would always slow down. So at first time during the performance, I decided, let's go faster. We're always slowing down here. And what ends up happening was the entire band starts speeding up and we lose control. So that was my fault. I feel bad about it even now. But I hope, I hope people forget. I'm probably reminding them as I talk about it. But, that's how I felt. I fucked up. That's how I felt. I think I cried actually. But, still had fun, and still, Daniel Gio and I again we were roommates, but for some reason our rooms were separated. But he would call every morning and was like, "Hey, you guys awake?" I'm like, "Yeah, how about you?" And it's fun. And then come the end of eighth grade, and we're talking high school now, and this guy from Lincoln comes and he's recruiting, and his name's Chris McCoy. And he's like, we have a good band here. And I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go to Lincoln now. And then my band director, Joe DeMar, he says, Chris McCoy, I taught him privately. He was my student here. He went here to Castlero, so it'd be really cool if you go to Lincoln. And I'm like, yeah, that would be cool. So I'm like, yeah, I want to go to Lincoln now. And the school district said, no, Lincoln's not your neighborhood school. So I'm like, I'm not going to go to Lincoln. But then I get another call saying, since you're performing arts, you get to choose which school you want to go to since it's a performing arts magnet. So I'm like, yeah. And, time is running out, getting closer to audition for Lincoln. And I haven't done anything. I haven't at all, So I had to learn a new way of playing scales. What I learned was, just going up to the eighth and back down, and what they did was go up to the ninth and back down. And I never learned that. And then the funny thing, one day in advanced band, our director says we're gonna learn how to play the scales going up to the ninth, and I felt like that was specifically geared towards me, because I didn't learn that. And then I didn't have an audition piece either. And I got Daniel to print me out something, which I never learned because I didn't know the rhythm. I couldn't figure out the rhythm. So I ended up playing Indiana Jones, arranged by Zoot69, YouTuber. And shout out to her. You do great arrangements and they're fun to play. But I played it for McCoy, and he just tells me, most freshmen don't make it into jazz band, and I feel like, oh, I fucked up. But um, next thing you know, I'm worried of what band I land in. I feel like I wouldn't make the advanced band. I would just probably be in the intermediate. And what happens was I made the advanced band, and I was happy, content and everything. So I'm happy I made the wind ensemble. Mr. Amar asked me, "Oh, you didn't make the jazz band?" I'm like, "Oh no." He said most freshmen don't make it in. He's like, "Well, I'm glad you made it into the wind ensemble." I'm like, "Oh, thank you, and thanks for everything." I love Mr. Amar. He's just an amazing. He was an amazing person to me the times I was there, and he's still an amazing person to me. So here we go, freshman year. Start out, and it's pretty fun in the band. Like it was like we did more other activities than music, which was weird for me. I'm just going there. I want to do music, 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 and we started kind of doing other things. Like one day we didn't play because we decorated the band room, but it was fun. But I wanted to play music. And then what happened was I got a girlfriend, a real one this time. We actually did stuff, and that was taking away from my music ability because instead of practicing, I was talking to her, texting on the phone. It was constant, and I backed off my instrument, which was bad for you know. And also, I felt like other things were kind of conflicting with that. Like we would do listening logs every Friday, and I felt like I I enjoyed doing it because it was nice listening to music, but I felt like that was taking away from the band because we would, you know, I guess I'm too young to realize that, to know that, but I thought, I'd rather just be working on the music we have now than listening to professional uh, orchestra play something and analyze it. But, you know, I made friends in high school, but I also lost Daniel Gio. He went to a different high school, and I didn't really understand the impact of that until he was gone. And, I felt like there was a hole. And so I'm going to skip through that. So I made a new friend, Lucky Nua, and he's amazing. He also has a YouTube. I can't remember his account though, but he's doing a lot of just question stuff, you know, video diary almost. And he's a great guy. But towards the end of the year, Mr. McCoy says I'm leaving Lincoln, and you guys are getting a new guy. And I feel like, what you? I just got here. What are you doing? But he's leaving, and we're getting a new guy. And I thought this might go bad. And what happened was, I auditioned. I made it into the jazz band, and the thing that made me happy was Daniel Gio was also coming to Lincoln, and I felt really happy about that. It was, hey, it's my friend. It's gonna be fun. And so, sophomore year rolls around. What happened with my relationship freshman year got it went to shit, and it really impacted me both, mentally and actually physically. I gained a lot of weight that year because I was eating out my emotions in a sense. You know, I don't want to go into specific stuff, but it got bad. But the hole that I told you about was filled because I got my friend back, Daniel Gio, and the new band director, Craig McKenzie. amazing. He was amazing. But I was fourth trombone in one ensemble, and I was bass trombone in jazz band. And I've never played bass trombone before, but I told him, I should probably get the bass trombone. And I hated it. I honestly did, because rule one of bass trombone, you're not allowed to play first trombone. And I like playing in the high register, even though my range wasn't that good. But I struggled that year because I was trying to bounce back from the year before, and whilst learning a new instrument at the same time. And it was a struggle the entire year. But it was also his first year, so the way it kind of um, you know the way it reflected was we were both in it together. So the next my sophomore year ends. It was a good year. We went to Skywalker Ranch to record. Yeah, and then junior year rolls back around. Well, summer, I decided, I'm gonna be second trombone player. So I ditched the bass trombone, which like I was kind of happy about, but I stick with trombone with an F attachment, and uh, you know, I get a job over summer playing in a musical, and I got paid. It was pretty good, and getting to practice, working on fundamentals again, scales and stuff, and I felt pretty good coming back into that year, and I felt like my sight reading was getting better. And an interesting thing, junior year started out, and we had a student teacher, Mr. Wilson. I, I always called him that, Mr. Wilson, and I never called him by his first name because I'm thinking of that one TV show and cartoon and turned into a movie. It was like, hey, Mr. Wilson. So that's what I would call him sometimes. But he was a great trumpet. He was a professional trumpet player at one point, and we got to learn about him. And that year, I told him I kind of want to play baritone. I told Mr. McKenzie. He's like, all right, you can play baritone. And that's a new experience, but it was kind of weird because I didn't have to learn. I already knew the fingerings, and I've never played baritone before. But I just thought of trombone, and it clicked. And then I was playing second in jazz band, and I was starting to learn stuff. I'm getting better at stuff, and sight reading's getting better, my range is getting better. And then one day we get clinicked by Dr. Aaron Lincoln, uh, professor of jazz studies at San Jose State, and he advertises his band called the San Jose Jazz High School All Stars, and apparently they needed trombone players. I was like, I feel like I'm good enough, and I should do it. So I emailed him and told him, I want to be in your band, and I'm willing to audition for you if you want. And he says, oh, I heard you play, you're in. And I'm like, yes. So it was a completely new experience getting to be in an honor band, and it was really fun. Daniel Gio is also there, so we're both we were both doing stuff, and you know it was a new experience. I'm playing professional music, playing for venues and stuff I wouldn't imagined, and like a new experience. Like we had a vocalist, and I've never played for a vocal with a vocalist in a jazz band before besides musicals. And our vocalist has an amazing voice. You know, it was it was awing sometimes. I stopped paying attention to the music because I was trying to hear her sing, and it was just really phenomenal voice, and we played really good songs. And also because of the all star group, I'm also starting to get better back in my jazz band. And also Mr. Wilson introduced the band to smart music, which was a great tool. I loved I like I it was like it's like rock band but for band, like high school band. And I was introduced to this tool, and it's a great tool. And he showed me how to start it up, and what it ended up turning to was I would come in early every morning and play that, and then I'd do it at advisory, which is our study hall session, I guess, if you want to relate. And then I would even come after school a bit and play more smart music because it was fun. I'm sight reading charts and doing everything. And also, my junior year, I got another girlfriend, and this time it was a good relationship. She was a flute player. Oh, she is a flute player, and and that was it was fun while it lasted. Didn't last too long, sadly, but it was fun, and I felt it was like the first time everything was working. I had my best friend Daniel Geo there. I had a girlfriend. I was in an all-star group. I was one of the top performers in my high school. It was fun, and you know summer rolls around. Then starts my senior year this year, my last year, and what started was I would play second again, but then you know I had to move back to bass trombone, but this time I got used to it and I love it now. It really differentiates you when you could play in that low register. And then another thing was Mr. McKenzie suggested that I audition for the Santa Clara County Honor Band. So I'm I auditioned for that, and I didn't think at all that I would make it. I was just basically do it just because I want to see if I can do it. And Daniel was he's made it all 4 years, and he was really supportive. And he's like he kind of told me, he's like, yeah, you should audition because every time there's lunch I have no one to eat with. I'm like, well, yeah, okay, you want me to audition just so we could have lunch together? Just tell me when your lunch is and we'll go have lunch together. But I go on audition and he tells me, yeah, you're really good, you did really well. And then that night, I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I didn't make this band. I didn't make this band. So I go to Jack in the Box. I get a burger, and I'm like, so I won't be sad. Just eat something. And then I get a message from him. See you tomorrow. And I jump in the middle of the restaurant, like, yeah. And I actually think I said, fuck yeah. And people are looking at me, and I'm like, sorry. I go back to eating. And words couldn't express what I was feeling at the time. I was like, I actually made it, and that was a great experience for me, also. And then um, the next audition was to re-audition for High School All Stars. This time in an actual audition, and I was a bit shaken, but I made that too, and I felt bad. I felt good, and I made it as the bass trombonist. I'm like, okay, I already know how to do this. This would be fun, and getting the opportunity that I've had, I thank God, I thank everything, I thank my supporters, and like, it's been great. Now we're like, I'm less almost month and almost away from graduating, and I came to a realization last year, like, music was the only thing I'm good at, is the only thing I'm good at. Everything else I'm kind of lousy at, you know. And I came to a realization, I want to turn this into a career, but I don't want to be a performer. I want to help people, have this experience. So I want to be a music teacher, and I told my band director about it, and now he's helping me with the steps. And it feels my goal, right now I'm gonna go to community for 2 years and transfer. My goal is to transfer to Chapman University in Orange County because we actually took a tour there. I heard them my freshman year and I fell in love with them immediately, and that was my goal. And then I actually got to see the campus, beautiful campus, and their music program is really cool. But it was interesting. I've never seen a French horn and playing a trombone part in their jazz band, but which was really cool. But I got to meet their you know directors and stuff, and it was nice. And we were playing for them, and he looks over to me. He's like, "Sorry, it's just in my band. I've never seen a bass trombone before." So that was really fun. And so my goal is to transfer to Chapman, and then I want to be a music teacher. My dream is to be is really to be a music teacher in a small community somewhere, like a small community somewhere in the middle of the country, not too bustling city, just a nice getaway thing where it's almost a requirement for the students to take band, and I want to show them what I've been through, my experiences and stuff. And that's my dream. My other dream is to move to the UK. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. I'm a huge Gordon Ramsay fan. Um, One of my favorite YouTubers, um, Charlie, is Charlie. He's also from there. A lot of people are from there that I really enjoy. So that's my other dream, move there. Um, but that's what I've done so far, and now I want to get to know the my advice to you. My advice would be, if you really want to do something and it really clicks, go for it. Don't look back. And there are gonna be obstacles in the way. Relationship, girlfriend, losing friends. It's gonna happen, but you kind of I told this to somebody before. You know, music has been there for me. Every day I wake up, it's always there. And I said this to somebody. I said, relationships come and go, but I know music will always be there for me. We were talking about relationships, and it was like, wow, um, I'm always with music in a sense, and it's amazing. And so, you know, another thing is to enjoy it. If you're in music and you really don't like it, then you're not helping yourself and you're not helping others. And it's you either do it or you don't. And also, don't half-ass it. You know, there was this one. No, I don't want to say that, but and also you get to learn your real friends, and just try to be humble about it. Don't show off. I've told my parents, don't show off. I'm not the best, but I'm trying to be there. I'm not trying to be the best. I just want to be myself. And what else I should say? You know, I guess. hmm, I guess another thing was, I didn't know that music was the only thing I was good at, because I wanted to be a baseball player from my high school, and I got cut every time I went out, and I felt like shit every time. I was like, why would so this year I didn't even go out, and like, why am I gonna try if I'm just gonna get cut? Now I'm a musician. It's taking up most of my time, and I'm doing double duty now. You know, and you know, music is everything to me. The people you meet, you get to meet amazing people that what. And also another thing is, I'm with music. I'm a perfectionist. You can't have music and not be a perfectionist about it. It just won't work. Like, um, you know, you people say, why are you in music? Be in a sport. It's way better for you. But you don't. It takes a different skill to be a musician than it does to be a sport. It takes a lot of mental work. Not saying that most sports also require mental work, but let's just say this. It's baseball. Okay, so a 330 average hitter is considered phenomenal in the game. 330. That's only hitting 33% of the time. If you're playing a song and you only hit 33% of the notes, it's gonna sound like shit. You know, nobody's gonna want to hear that. So, you have to be perfect every time you play a song. And, sometimes people don't understand that, but I heard this guy talking about this, and he demonstrated with his band, you know, I want you to play this song, but you get to play one mixed up, like one note you get to change, and it sounded horrible, and they all just played one wrong note. It wasn't like, they just no, they just played one wrong note, and it sounded terrible. He's like, okay, now play it the way you're supposed to play it, and then it sounds beautiful. So you really have to be a perfectionist. Another thing is to use a pencil. I got to learn that with Craig McKenzie, and now I use it all the time. You star stuff, that you're not familiar with. You write your accidentals and stuff like that, and just work on that. And another thing, enjoy your friends around it. Like, you know, it's kind of ironic because my best friend is a trombone player as well, and he could beat me out of the water, but we never fight at all. We've never fought before, and we're really really close friends. And it's kind of weird seeing that because normally you'd think I'd be like trying to be better than him, but no, we're great friends. I know he's better than me. And another thing, if you have the opportunity, get private lessons. I didn't. I guess I never took trombone private lessons. I was more of a do-it-myself guy, but I really wish I could have took private lessons on trombone. I took private lessons on clarinet before. Those of you who really stuck with this profile knew that I had clarinet videos. I deleted those because I thought they were shit. And you know, if you're gonna make music a priority, make it a priority. I'm not saying. Another thing was, I wish I had this talk with my freshman year. It was about course selection. People that tell you what courses to take want you to take the hardest courses, and that didn't work out for me. I got a D in a few classes, which got me ineligible for UCs and CUs and stuff like that. So that's why I'm going to community first. I wish I had that talk earlier. He said, is it better to take the classes that you can pass and be in band all 4 years, or to take the really hard AP classes that you'll probably fail and then end up consuming all your time and not be able to take band? So I wish I had that talk. It would look better on a college, application if they saw that you stuck with band or, a performing arts program all 4 years than it did if you took all these AP classes, same as the next person, and then they realize, hey, you you were in a performing arts thing, but then what happened? You see, you didn't take it all 4 years. So, it's better to see it that way. I guess I'm rambling now. Most of you probably checked out. But, music, I love music. It's simple as that. It's amazing. And, you know, I know this went a lot better in my head. Sorry, you know, about that, but it's, it's what I love about my life, music. I think everything that I've had the opportunity to play music, I think the opportunity and the possibility to continue music, God willing, I love it. It distincts me from other people, you know. I could have a conversation about music all the time, and it's amazing. So thank you for listening to this, and I hope you got some information about it, or at least you know a little bit more about me You know, another thing, if you want to talk, you just send me a message and we could talk about stuff. And I could tell you more about my story and tell you could ask whatever you want. I'm here. I want to be here to give my guidance, my perspective, and help you. Hopefully, you know, hopefully I get to meet each and every one of you in person, talk to you guys, and I really hope I get, you know, I really hope my music career continues. If I end up being a music teacher, I'll, say thank you to you guys for being here for me. And, last thing, I know this channel has gone astray, but I will get it back to music, the music that I'm listening to now. And, hopefully you guys will like it. So, thank you for everything. And I hope this was good. So, bye bye.